Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be here, and not only to get those who are physically here, but all those who watch us. Thank you for all your messages, emails. Here we are in New York, and we are in the Tractate Bava Batra, beginning of 9 perek, 9 chapter, at the 139b, the Mishnah. We continue the law of inheritance, as we learned several times, by the Torah law. If the father left a estate, it goes to the sons. Only if there's no sons, then it goes to the daughters. We explain, based on the Mishnah in Tractate Bava, page 52, that there are certain stipulations within the estate, such as if there is a part of the condition, the stipulation of the marriage contract that obligated the husband to take care of those daughters who are in the house. Therefore, that's turned to be the husband obligation, that it's sometimes can consume part of the inheritance, part of the estate. And as we explained many times, when it's come to the commitment, the structural commitment of the obligation, we have 3 biblical obligations the husband take upon himself, and then we have other 7 obligations that it's rabbinic. So one of them is the idea that the daughters, in case of them, as we said, dependency, it's part of his obligation, the husband obligation, to take care of them. So here the question, the structural question, as the Ritva explains, is not only the manner of taking care of them as far as food is concerned, it's also clothing and basic need, for example, blankets, pillows, etc. So here is the Mishnah. Misheh met veheniach banim uvanot. Someone passed away and he left sons and daughters. So here we have 2 different titles. One is called Nechasim Merubim. In general, it means a lot of estate. Obviously, we later evaluate clearly what does that mean lot and what does that mean not a lot, especially if the estate, as we are all familiar, have situations like ups and downs. So a person can leave something that has a value, current value of $5 million, and then when it needs to be divided, it can be $2 million. Or if you go to a small apartment, it can be 200, and the next day can be 75. So what exactly the definition of many, of few, this is something that later the Gemarrah explained. But anyway, Bizman shenechasim merubim, when the estate is large, habanim yirshu vehabanot yizonu, meaning you have evaluation of the estate. So if the evaluation of the estate, just for the sake of understanding, it's $600,000, what you do is the sons have the transferring the title or the entitlement of the general estate. Meanwhile, it means you give the daughter the provision within the estate to have their basic needs for the time being until they settle in their lives, what the sons inherited. So it's several different avenues between the Rishonim, between the early rabbis. You have the Rashbam, the Ritva, and the Rosh. You have others to understand what exactly, how you divided it. Because the problem is, the moment you give inheritance to the sons and you stipulated that they have to take care of the daughter, you basically open the door for problems. If you take care of the daughter and delay the sons for access the estate, again we may face depreciation of the estate. and since the interdynamic within the family, you have some type of need for enforcement to make sure that the structure of the current estates, especially when it's come to the daughter's need, which can, again, even for temporary manners, can be changed, to be in the structure of agreement. But anyway, the general understanding is we are not avoiding any estate from the sons, meaning every sons have the capability to have their portion of the estate, and the daughter have the basic sustenance until they settle from the son's estate. All of that, the Mishnah tells us, and later the Gemara elaborates, with the condition that they are large estate. Nechasim mu'atim, if unfortunately the father left a small quantity, small amount of estate, habanot yizonu ve'abanim yisha'alu ala ptachim. So the idea is that the daughters are provided with a sustenance. The sons who receive, in this case, neither inheritance nor sustenance, have no other mean, which is they support themselves, but in general, just literal translation is that they need to knock doors and collect fund, because there is a immediate need to take care of the daughters. So therefore, that's obviously there is, as we said, there is a lot of discussion. Yad Ramah and many others elaborate what exactly the expectations from each. But anyway, Admon Omer, Bishvil she'ani zachar hifsadeti, just because I was born baby boy, it means that I have less than my sisters. So it means what he hold, the Rashbam explained that both sons and daughters will get the same equal of the sustenance until it's gone. Tosfot in Rabbeinu Tam have a little different avenue, but that's the general understanding. Amar Rabban Gamliel, ro'eh ani divrei admon. Rabban Gamliel, who is a luminary rabbi, he said, I think that what Admon tried to convey here, it makes sense. The Rashbam comments that the halacha do not follow Admon. And he said, I'm sorry, that the halacha is follow Admon. And this is the language of Rashbam. והכי הלכתה כאדמון, דאמר בפרק בתרא דכתובות, כל מקום שאמר רבן גמליאל, רואה אני דברי אדמון ואחר כמותו. So here the Rashbam wants to re-emphasize that any place, as we learn in Ketubot, that Rabban Gamliel mentioned halacha ke'admon, it means that that's the final halacha. So the Gemara elaborate and ask, what does that mean when we use the term of large or small quantity of estate? V'chama merubim, what does that mean when we use the term large amount of estate? Amar Rav Yuda Amar Rav, כדי שיזונו מהן אלו ואלו 12 חודש. Here we have definition, and we follow just the way that the Ramban and the Ran explain to us. As long as you have estate without need for special designation of estate for sustenance, the daughter will have the provision within the state, so they'll be able to sustain themselves with a period of 12 months, even if they get married before the completion of that term, and in a way they'll not have the right to receive more support for the sustenance. We basically can put some type of structure of guardian to give them what they need. Now, there is a logical reasoning for that. Because we said that we're giving the sons the estate, and part of that is the condition that they support the daughters, therefore they need to have a measurement of of value of the estates, that it's large enough in order to support both. Ki amrita kamid de Shmuel. So the story Rashbam explained that originally Rav Yehuda learned first with Rav, and when the Rav passed away, he came and studied before Shmuel. So that's the idea. He said, Amar zo divrei Rabban Gamliel barabi, אבל חכמים אומרים, כדי שיזונו מהן אלו ואלו עד שיבגרו. So the sages said that they need to reach a point of 12 and 6 months. That's basically the term, as we learned many times, that it's called bogeret. And therefore, we have to have the state large enough to provide sustenance from it for both, for the sons and for the daughters, until they reach a time that the daughters reach their majority. As we said, the idea of maturity is 12 and a half years of age. Now, Itmar Nami, it's another rules of Shmuel. Ki ata, when Ravin came from Israel to Babylon, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, that was in Israel, ואמר לה, אמר רבא בברחן, אמר רבי יוחנן, כל שיזונו מהם אלו ואלו עד שיתבגרו, which means they have the sustenance for both, for sons and daughters, until the daughters reach the maturity of age, הן מרובין, פחות מכאן הרי אלו מועטין. So as long as they reach those point of maturity, it's the מרובין, it's the majority, פחות מכאן. If less than that, it's basically small estate. Now, I would like to share with you the Rambam in Ilchot Isur, chapter 19, because with this Rambam we have a better understanding of the Sugiyah. The Rambam said, in the case of one who dies and live beyond both sons and daughters, the sons inherit the estate. They are entitled to dispose dispose of it as they wish, as long as they provide for their sisters until they later reach their majority or are betrothed. Now he bring the Mordechai, the Rama, bring the Mordechai, that's the Even Ezer 112, that they may not sell the estate while they are sustaining their sisters, except for the purpose of mitzvah, such as redeeming the captive. The Rama adds that the sons are not required to be frugal in their spending. If the court notes that the sons are depleting their large father estate, the court must ensure the welfare of their daughters by separating their due from the estate. All this applies when the estate is large enough to provide food, clothing, and accommodation for both the sons and the daughters, until the daughters reach the majority. And according to some, that's the Beit Shmuel, to pay for the daughters' marriage expenses. If the estate is not large, the court first separates funds to provide for the daughters, and then gives the remainder to the sons. The first priority is to provide for the daughters, even if the sons must restore to begging. Basically, that's the unknown view, contradicted to what we said by the Admon. Nowadays, these halachot apply if the father bequeathed land. If he bequeathed only movable property, both sons and daughters are provided for equally, as the daughter's rights to receive sustenance from movable property is not by Torah or rabbinic law, rather it is the ordinance of the Geonim. And this ordinance did not give the daughters precedence over the sons. If the estate includes both land and movable property, and together they constitute a large estate, the sons inherited the estate. So here the Gemara asks, Ve'ileika le'elu va'elu ad sheyivgeru. If it's not enough to provide for both, for the sons and daughter, until they reach the age of majority. Page 140, Shakleilehu banot lechulhu. You mean to say that the daughters take all the estate, even more than they require for their basic sustenance? how come, why you do such a thing? It's Rabbeinu Gershom said it looks like you show, in a sense, partiality only toward the daughters. The Shita Mikubetzet and others try to say that it's only by the Chachamim and Rabbi Yochanan that hold that when it's come to a small quantity of estate, it's not enough for both. But according to Rabbi Gamliel Bar Rabbi and Rab that said it's as long as it's enough for 12 months, it's not the issue because the whole structure it's a time limitations. But anyway, Amarava מוציאים להם לבנות עד שיבגרו והשאר לבנים. So obviously here we not only stick our noses in the sense of rabbinic court that we want to make sure the daughter have, but we structure it in a way that brings sustenance for the daughter until they reach their time of majority. But then what left over in the estate, that's what you give to the sons. In a sense that you put the sons in a situation, the Rashbam said, that they need to knock doors in order to have a basic living, because the daughters now have the full access. But anyway, Pshita, so it appears, it's obvious that the estate was large, merubin venitma'atu. If you tell me that the estate was large, and now it's less, as we explained, let's say, if this apartment, the father left apartment in Florida, and that apartment was 200, and now all of a sudden it's 75, right? So you treat it kvar zachu ba'im yorshim. So originally they reached a point that it's merubin, that it's large. So it's already the structure of large. It doesn't change because the market price changed. So in a sense, they go by the time of passing, and that's the way that we structure. Not everyone goes along with that. You see the Rosh and the Shita Mikubeset bring the Tosfot Rosh that if you structure it the way you're just saying it, it turns that the daughters get, as long as they not married in the structure, more. Anyway, this is the Beit Shmuel on the whole sugya, try to shed more light. But anyway, Mu'atin v'mitrabu mai, if it was the other way around, if it's small and turned to be large, how you treat it? So they said, Birshut Yorshin Kaimei, Vilkach Birshut Yorshin Shabuach. You basically said that it was in the estate of the heir, so therefore, which is at that time was small value, and then all of a sudden it show enhancement and appreciation, so that within the ownership of the heir it show appreciation. So now you call it nechasim merubim, a large estate. Or Dilma, or you may say the opposite way. You said salukei misalkei yorshin mehacha. The heir are totally removed from possession of the small estate, and the appreciation in value is to the benefit of the daughters receiving sustenance. So Tashma, we bring a brighter. Amar Rabbi Asi, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, יתומים שקדמו ומכרו בנכסים מועדים, מה שמכרו ומכרו. He says, if it turns the situation of the orphans just sold, but sold in a sense, they did it earlier, they did it preemptively, which means that they did it much earlier. So it's already done deal. The sale is valid, even though they acted improperly by doing such a thing. It appeared the way that the Rashbam and others that they did it surreptitiously, clandestinely, not by Tosfot. Tosfot said that it's already have aktsa'at bedin, already the court structure and measure it. But anyway, now the Gemara elaborates on that with a different question. And again, I just want to make sure that we remember the Mishnah. The Mishnah structured it in a way that Almana, a widow, she have let's understand, if it's ketubah, we treat in ketubah, a marriage contract, the same as chov, as a regular debt. And therefore, that's preceding the yerusha, the inheritance. Now, if she decided that she does not wish to get married, so part of the tna'ei ketubah, part of the condition, as we explained, the 7 conditions on the ketubah, is that she needs to be support within the ketubah itself. So the question is, do you treated the widows as a daughter, or you treated her, for example, if she is getting married tomorrow, so obviously she is no longer have the support of the ketubah. So the question, if today it's nechasim merubim, it's a large estate, and tomorrow it's reduced to a small value, so as we said, if it's a, we use this example, the apartment was 200, and the sons inherited them, and now the estate changed the value and it's 75. So we still hold that is nechasim merubim because we go by the time of passing. That's the same way we treated the widow, the almanah. Now you see a difference here between the Rashbam and Tosfot. According to Rashbam, when it's come to the daughter, they take the part by the apotropos, by the guardian. And whatever left, regardless if it's nechasim merubim or moatim, you basically divided then. But here, Yativ Rabbi Yirmiyah kamei de Rabbi Abahu v'kabai minei almanato. Ma'u shetema'et b'nechasim. If the father of these sons and daughters left also a widow. So how you treated this estate? Does it reduce the value of the estate? Because as we said that part of the commitment, that if the husband passed away, she, as long as she is not married, she can use the ketubah, or mi amrinan kevan deit lemezone mema'ata, או דילמה כיוון דאילו מן הסבל ליתלי, השתנה מליתלי. So, how exactly you treated? You saying that you give it to the, since it's a small amount, if it's not too much, so you hold that since she have the right to receive sustenance because she's still in a state of widow, in our modern day language, even she's dating or whatever it is she's still under the category of widow. It's basically reduced the value of the estate because she take her basic sustenance within the estate. And or if you say that if she remarried, she does not have the right to sustenance, now as well, for the purpose of determining the value of the estate, she is considered as if she does not have the right to sustenance, and therefore it does not reduce the value of the estate. אם תמצא לומר כיוון דאילו מנסווה ליתלי, השתנה מליתלי. בת אשתו, מהו שתמעט בנכסים. So how about the daughter that have from the previous marriage? Daughter from his, the wife have a daughter from her previous marriage, and he, meaning the deceased, commit himself to support her, but for a certain period of time. So if he passed away during that time, does the daughter has the right to access to his estate, meaning to have the sustenance from his estate? מהו שתמעט בנכסים? מי אמרינן כיוון דכי מינס וענה מאית לה וממעטה, או דילמה כיוון דאילו מתה לית לה. So here Tosfot challenged the Rashbam. Teima leri, I'm just reading Tosfot, 6 lines from the bottom of the page. האח טועה לומר כן, והבת נמי אם מינס ועלית לה. So even the daughter, if she got married, so she doesn't have כיוון דאילו מתה לית לה, ולא ממטה. Anyway, don't have time. So they said, ואם תמצא לומר כיוון דאילו מתה לית לה ולא ממטה, בעל חוב מהו שימעט בנכסים? מי אמרינן? כיוון דחימאית נמאית לי, ממאית. או דילמה? כיוון דמחסרי גוביינה לא ממאית. So how you treat it? You said that since when the creditor dies, he also has the right to the money owed him. So basically take it from the heir, from the children. So it's obviously it reduces the values of the estate. Or you say that since he's not collected this time, it's not reduced the value of the estate. Ve'ika devaila le'idach gisa. The sum that goes, all these three sfeikot of Rabbi Yomi in different order, which means originally he asked, Baal chov ma'u shima'et benechasim, does when it's come to the debt owed to a creditor, does it reduce the value of the estate? 140b. You see, our producer already gave me a signal that we need to run for Shachris soon. Okay, so let's try to first just read it, and I give you the halacha. בת אשתו מהו שתמעט בנכסים, אלמנתו מהו שתמעט בנכסים, אלמנתו הוא בת איזה מהם קודמת. So here in general we ask a question which take precedence when it's come to this inheritance. The daughter of his wife, the widow, or when it's come to a question between the widow and the daughter, which of them take precedence if the estate is insufficient to provide sustenance for both of them. אמר לזילה איתנה ביתה למחר, go and come tomorrow. כי אתה אמר לי פשוט מאחד עד, אמר רבי אבא אמר יאסי, אסור אלמנה אצל הבת כבת אצל האחים בנכסים מועטים. מה בת אצל האחים ובת ניזון ואחים נשאלו לפתחים, אף אלמנה אצל הבת, אמנה ניזון והבת תשאל לפתחים. So, again, the Rashbam tells us in Hilchot Isur chapter 20 that if one dies leaving a widow and a daughter, the widow is provide for the estate. If the estate is small to provide for the daughter as well, then the daughter requests charity at the doors. Even if the daughter marries and she brings the estate into her marriage as part of the dowry, the widow is still entitled to be sustained from the estate. Furthermore, even if the daughter dies, in which case her husband inherits from her, the widow is still entitled to be sustained from the estate. This final ruling is the halacha only with regard to this type of property, but if it's a guarantee property, the husband has the status of a purchaser and the widow cannot demand the estate from him. That's the Even Ezer 93. Anyway, Beit Shmuel, it's a big write-up about it. אדמו"ר אומר בשביל שאני זכר הפסדתי, מייקה אמר רבי בחלקה אמר בשביל שאני זכר ובורן לעסוק בתורה הפסדתי, because I'm man and I am obligated to study Torah. You mean to say that I must go begging instead of study Torah? אלא אמר רבא, אלא מהטעמיים להשיג בתורה עוד ירית, לא להשיג בתורה לא ירית, you just take care of those who study Torah. אלא אמר רבא, אחי כאמר בשביל שאני זכר וראוי לגרש בנכסים מרובים, הפסדתי לנכסים מועטים. So that's basically the structure of the question. We're going to the Mishnah. הניח בנים ובנות וטומטום, and some left sons and daughter, but also טומטום, as we explained in the past, that the one that it's we treat it as a male or female when it's come to unclear. הזכרים, בזמן שהנכסים מרובים, הזכרים דוחים אותו אצל נקבות, נכסים מועטים, הנקבות דוחות אצל זכרים. אומר, אם תלד אשתי זכר יטול מנה, ילדה זכר יטול מנה, נקבה 200, ילדה נקבה נוטל 200, זכר מנה, נקבה 200, ילדה זכר או נקבה, זכר נוטל מנה, נקבה נוטל 200, ילדה טומטום אינו נוטל. אם אמר כל מה שתלד אשתי ייטול, הרי זה ייטול. ואם אין שם יורש, אלא הוא יורש את הכל. דוחין אותו ושקל כבת, Mishnah said that you take this idea of טומטום, and you basically treat it as a daughter, הקטן ספר ילדה טומטום אינו נוטל, אמר רבי דוחין אותו ואין לו. ורב אמר דוחין אותו ויש לו, וספר התן לרבן שמעון גמליאל, דתניא ילדה טומטום ואנדרוגינוס, רבן שמעון גמליאל אומר קדושה חלה עליהם. מי טבעי טומטום יורש כבן וניזון כבת, בשלמה לרב יורש כבן בנכסים מועטין וניזון כבת בנכסים מרובין. דף קמ"א, page 141. אלא לבאי מאי ניזון כבד ולתעמיך, לרב המאי ראש כבן, אלא ראוי לירש ואין לו, אך אינם ראוי ליזון ואין לו.